Hey, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm outside doing this video today and it is currently storming. It's thundering and lightning. So if you hear like the roll of the thunder or the wind in the background, that's what that is. I just kind of wanted to be outside right now and it just happens to be storming. But I think the bulk of the heavy rain is over with, so I think we're okay. But anyway, today we are going to talk about July's book club pick, which was Atmosphere by Jenkins Reid. Oh, look at this beautiful cover. Absolutely love the cover. Oh, look at her sunglasses. You can see the rocket ship? Space shuttle? I don't know. Okay, work. So this was very highly anticipated for me. Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors. I have read everything that she's written except her short story, The Evidence of the Affair. I think I have it on my Kindle. I need to just read it. Yeah, I've read everything that she's written. I've loved everything that she's written, and this was very highly anticipated for me. And spoiler alert, I loved it. It was so good. It made me absolutely ugly cry. I read most of the ending while waiting for my appointment at the clinic, and I'm so glad that I waited till I got home to read the very end, because I was sobbing, like very much ugly crying, sobbing at the end. So yeah, that would have been really embarrassing. So before I get into the book, I just need to say something, because I have been seeing more than a couple of negative reviews, which you're entitled to your very wrong opinion. But one specifically, well, no, a few, but one specifically I saw today on Facebook in one of my book groups. And in her review, she said, I didn't sign up for a romance. I didn't sign up for a love story. Well, Miss Thing, you actually did, because I don't know, are we just not reading anything about the books that we're reading? Because right here, I don't know if you saw that, it quite literally says Atmosphere, a love story. So actually you quite literally did sign up to read a love story. So you look like a fool. All of y'all, and she is not the only one who has said that. She's not the only one who said that I didn't know this was going to be about a romance. I didn't know that it was going to be all lovey-dovey and about love. Why are we not doing the bare minimum and reading our cover? Because, as you know, I don't read the synopsis of books, okay? I don't really read what my books are about before I read them, okay? Guilty as charged. But y'all, I'm at least reading my covers. I'm at least knowing what genre I'm reading. If a book is called, like, Drag Me to Hell, a horror story, I'm not gonna go write a review and say, oh, well, I didn't sign up for a horror book, because I'm gonna look foolish and I'm gonna look tacky. So before you go out and start spewing your reviews about why you didn't like this book, at least like maybe know what you're talking about. At least maybe know what the book was about before you start. She also was upset that the book was not about a Native American woman. That's her words, not mine, because the woman on the front was clearly Native American. It's just a girl with dark hair who's tan. Okay. But yeah, I've seen a few people that were upset that this was not a book all about women in NASA and the first woman in space and the rigorous training to be an astronaut. And what I say to you is, if you would like a nonfiction book about women in space, there are lots of books out there in the nonfiction section. This is a book of fiction. This is fake. This is a story, made up story. So this isn't that book. And it never claimed to be that. So there's my rant. This is fiction. This didn't happen. Women going to space has happened, but this particular person, this particular book, this stuff didn't happen. This is called fiction. So yeah, before you start making up these foolish reviews, know what you're talking about, because it didn't claim to be that. And first of all, it absolutely does talk a lot about being in the space program and the training that they did and the relationship building that these people went through in their training. But again, it's a love story. It is not a story about space, a story about NASA, a story about training to be an astronaut. It's a love story, okay? Okay, so now that we all know what the book is about, let's get into it. This is about Joan. I always want to say Jane. It's Joan, who is obsessed with space and the stars, and she gets accepted into the NASA program to become an astronaut out of thousands of people who have applied. And we basically go on the journey with her as she trains to become an astronaut with this group of other characters in the book. And that was another complaint people had, where they didn't think that the characters were fleshed out enough. And I think we got just enough of each person that we needed to, you know? Some people we didn't get a ton of knowledge and information about their characters, but we didn't need to. They were just that. They were just side characters. And the people that we needed information on, we got that information. And I feel like it was just enough. And I loved the side characters. You had, like, you know, the chauvinistic men who didn't really think that the women belonged there and made their very sexist jokes. And there was a lot of talk about going along with the sexism and Joan being upset by the sexism. And all of that was talked about, but I felt like it was talked about in a really, like, subtle... I feel like sexism and women in a very male-dominated field obviously was a huge part of this book, but I don't feel like feminism and, like, women was, like, shoved in your face. I felt like it was it also wasn't subtle either. It was a huge part of this book. Obviously, it's about, you know, being the first woman in space. Like, that's a huge deal. But I don't feel like this is, like, it was, like, shoved in your face. I feel like Taylor did such a great job talking about, like, great social commentary on so many different things. One thing that I will talk about, but it's a spoiler, so I will let you know when we talk about it. But yeah, great social commentary on women in the workforce and in an only male-dominated field at the time, of course. And then you had, you know, the men that would stick up for the women, and they were so wonderful, and you grew to love them. And then, you know, the women that thought they were better than the other women and were trying to find their place in the group as well. And just the relationships that Joan has with all these different characters and how she tried to fit herself in the group as well. And just her finding herself in the world. And it was like, it's such a beautiful book of self-exploration while she's, like, it sounds so cheesy, but, like, exploring the world, like, literally the galaxy. Like, it's really beautiful. And then she has this whole dynamic with her sister. So Joan is this literal, you know, going to be an astronaut, this very scientific, smart, genius woman. And her sister, who is a single mom, she had a child very young, and she is a single mom who is basically trying to find a man to take care of her and her daughter. I'm not trying to say that, like, in a bad way or anything like that. That's just the truth of the matter. She's trying to find a husband. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what she's trying to do. And it's just a very interesting dynamic between her and her sister, and a beautiful relationship between Joan and her niece. I believe her name is Franny. It doesn't say on here. That sounds right. But I loved, there's just deer running in my front yard. Okay, get it, girl. She's like, just passing through. So I loved that whole relationship and that whole storyline and how that ended. I did not see any of that coming. I thought that was so interesting. What did you guys think of that? I know some people really hated the niece, and I'm just like, did we read the same book? Like, that girl had an interesting life. It was a hard life, and I really felt for her, and yeah, it was they were calling her like a brat and stuff, and I'm just, again, I'm like, did we read the same book? Like, oh my gosh. So it was really I liked that they threw that into the book, as well as Joan being a single woman going through this very rigorous, tough, NASA experience, and her sister Barbara, I believe, trying to raise her daughter, looking for a husband. It was just a really interesting dynamic, and I thought brought a lot to the book and to the story. And I just cannot believe that all the research that Taylor must have done for this book, people saying that there wasn't enough NASA and space, I thought it was amazing. I thought there was just enough. I honestly didn't want to read any. I thought there was enough. It's like Carrie Soto with the tennis stuff. That's why I gave that one only a 4-star and not a 5. Like, I rated all of her other books, because the tennis stuff I didn't give a hoot about. It was too much. I hate sports to begin with, but like tennis is just, I don't give a rip about it. And so it just really lost me. And I think if it would have gone more in depth into, I don't know, maybe the training, like the training was interesting and all that stuff, but I just think it was enough. And again, it's a love story. We're talking about relationship. So this is a spoiler I'm going to talk about. So maybe go forward 30 seconds. I'm just going to get it out quick, just so people know what we're talking about. So skip ahead 30 seconds right now. This book is LGBTQ. The love story, the romance in this book is a lesbian romance. Miss Reid herself just came out as bisexual. She's married to a man, but she is bisexual. And I'm sure this book was really important to her to write. And I think some people are also up in arms maybe about that. I don't know. I think in the Facebook post, it was a lot of middle-aged women who were up in arms about it and didn't enjoy it as much, so maybe that's it. But yeah, this is a lesbian romance, a beautiful romance. There we go. Spoiler over. Okay, so yeah, more of the social commentary aspect there as well. This is the early 80s, so take that into consideration with all of the sexism and all of that. So I loved that it took place then. Just everything about it I just thought worked so well. Yeah, I didn't want to give that spoiler away because people were just talking about it in their reviews, and I'm like, that is a spoiler because it's not in the synopsis, so I didn't want to give it away. So yeah, it just got so dark outside. Oh my god. Anyway, so that's kind of the gist of the book. Joan navigating her personal life and her personal struggles that she's going through, as well as trying to become a literal astronaut and become the first woman in space. And I just think that's so amazing. It's very much girl power. It's very much you go girl. It's very much go women, yay women, women are amazing. It is all of that. And like I said, it's not too much in your face about that, I don't think, which there's nothing wrong with that. It didn't feel too like feminism, like, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. I love those books as well. I mean, it's definitely like that. It is definitely a feminist book, and it's for the girls for sure, but like in a more, not in a subtle way, but just, it's so beautiful. You guys, look at this book. Are we kidding? It's so beautiful. I don't know what else. Oh, I do want to say, the whole time I read this book, I could just so clearly in my mind see everything. So I did hear that they were making a movie, and I can't wait, because it's just read like a movie to me. Like I said, I could just so clearly see everything in my mind. Every scene just played out like a movie scene. Some books just do that, and it's interesting how not all of them do that for me, but I think I said that about another book recently, but oh my gosh, this book did. I just saw every scene so clearly. I was trying to figure out who would play who in the movie or TV. I don't know which one they're doing, but who have you guys picked out any characters for this if they make it into a movie? I haven't had anyone picked out, but I feel like I pick out like certain facial structures, maybe like not necessarily certain people, but just kind of I have like certain faces in mind, you know. But I don't have any specific people in mind. If this is like AI person, I don't know, but she's beautiful, whoever she is. Is there anybody? This kind of looks like Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot, is that her name? I don't think we want her in the movie, but it just kind of looks like her, doesn't it? I don't know, but they need to be like in their 30s, like mid 30s maybe. I don't know. I think that's all I have to say. I would love to get more in depth because the relationship in the book was so beautiful. That was another thing about that lady's review. She said that they had no chemistry. For me, the chemistry was popping off the page. That is why I was bawling so much at the end, because it was just breaking my heart and it was so beautiful. Oh, here comes the rain again. Oh, the bunnies are running. Run to cover, bunny. The chemistry was so, and the relationship was so beautiful. And I cannot believe she said they had no chemistry. Oh my God. It's a beautiful book, a beautiful love story. It's a love story. And she can do no wrong in my eyes. And it's pouring. I swear, we cannot go one day without rain here. We cannot go one day. It is wild. Anyway, I'm gonna go now that it's torrential downpour. You probably can't even hear me. If you have read Atmosphere, what did you think? If you have read Atmosphere, what did you think about the love story? Let me know down below. Give this video a thumbs up and share if you could. It would really help out the channel. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm really trying. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.